Welcome, everybody. This is a popular topic. We're just letting in all the participants right now. There was more than 100 people signed up, so that's great. This will also be recorded after a light edit from our communication team at Community Energy Association, we'll be providing that link, and you can check in at our website as well for this and other impactful webinars. Is this very meta right now? Can you see what I'm seeing in terms of people on the side of my screen? Jenna, can you, when I'm sharing my presentation here, can you see
just
your
see your
face?
presentation. No.
Just the presentation?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, well, while people are coming in, I'll get started. Welcome to Deep Energy Retrofits, Insight and Inspiration from First Nations Communities. My name is Gaëtane Carignan. I work for Community Energy Association as a facilitator in relationships and reconciliation. And I'm also a program manager for the initiative called Building a Legacy North, which this webinar is one of many training and capacity building events made possible through that initiative. It's a collaboration of Community Energy Association and the Canadian Home Builders Association of Northern BC. Shout out to Terry McConaughey, the executive officer of Canadian Home Builders Association Northern BC. And funding for today's webinar has been provided by BC Hydro and Fortis BC. As I mentioned, this event's being recorded and it will be made available on CEA's webpage after a communication team lightly edits. If you're attending live today, it's been approved for 2 continuing professional development points from BC Housing. I'd like to give a special welcome to members of the Nisga'a Nation Housing Committee who are attending today, and anyone who's working directly in community to improve housing and infrastructure and resilience to climate change. So in the next 2 hours, I'm going to give a welcome and introduction for the 15 minutes, talk a little bit about deep energy retrofits and just a bit about what they are and why they're important. Karim Abraham is going to talk about home assessment beyond the energy assessment. So he's going to present about Community Power's multi-metric approach to holistic home assessments that take into consideration much more than just energy efficiency and why that's important. And Karim is going to be able to take questions directly after his presentation. And then Richard Hall is going to be talking about a right path for energy retrofits for about 45 minutes. And so if you know Richard's work, he's going to get to discuss his experiences in New Hulk Nation, the importance of capacity building within community, and the ways that he's been able to lead the community toward rebuilding in every sense of the word. I've had the pleasure of listening to both of these presenters previously and experiencing their work and the way they approach things, and I think we're going to be in for a real treat. And then if everything goes swimmingly, we'll have time at the end, so about half an hour. We're going to give you a short feedback survey in the Zoom, and then we'll have some facilitated discussion. I'm going to invite members of the Nisga'a Nation Housing Committee and anyone else who's working in community directly in First Nations communities to know that you have the priority for your question and answers. We'd really like to hear from you, and then the rest of people participating today, please put your questions in the chat and we can have a great discussion. The intent being to help support anyone who's working directly in community to do the work that they need to do. My computer's just thinking. So I've introduced myself. And Karim Abraham is the CEO of Campbell Energy Group, and a division of that is Community Power. Community Power is a distinct division there that focuses on improving homes and reducing energy bills in remote Indigenous communities through holistic energy and housing solutions. Richard Hall is an international Red Seal carpenter and NISI qualified building inspector, independent First Nations housing consultant. After 38 years of experience as a Red Seal carpenter, home builder, construction foreman, qualified building inspector, site supervisor, and project manager, Richard now serves as a special advisor for First Nation communities in constructing energy efficient, culturally appropriate, affordable homes. Over his career, he's inspected 5,000 to 6,000 homes in BC and captured the challenges within communities by placing pen to paper to help find solutions that would benefit all Canadians. He's the principal designer of the Wet West Coast Building Standard, and with this booklet, he created a new building standard for First Nations with simple, affordable concepts and solutions that complemented their lifestyle, the weathering elements, the BC Energy Step Code, and overall durable and appropriate housing materials for the designs. Really excited to hear about what both of these presenters are going to give us today. So I work for Community Energy Association, and we do everything that's related to community or to climate action in local governments and Indigenous communities. So that's one of the reasons why we're so interested in high performance building and energy efficiency in both new construction and the retrofit spaces, because it's one of three main things that local governments can influence in their climate action, that being transportation and waste, and then buildings. And I'm going to put some of my colleagues on the spot, or many of you I know who work in this space as well. If you wanted to put in the chat your knowledge about how much of BC's climate and emissions that buildings, the proportion of emissions from buildings, I'd love to see that percentage. And if you had a source for that, bonus points. Community Energy Association commits to the principles of truth and reconciliation. So as an organization, we support the calls to action released by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada and recognize the importance of self-determination of Indigenous peoples as articulated in the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. This is a book that I just recently read, and I came across a passage on UNDRIP, so the United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People. So in 2007, 143 countries signed on to UNDRIP, but not 4, notably the US, Australia, New Zealand, and not Canada. Finally, in 2016, Canada was no longer the lone opposer to UNDRIP. And in 2018, there was a private member's bill to ensure Canadian laws align with UNDRIP. This received unanimous support in the House of Commons. However, there's also right now just a new Auditor General's report that came out from the federal government, and it has found that people in First Nations communities are 4 times more likely to live in crowded housing and 6 times more likely to live in housing in need of major repairs than non-Indigenous people, according to Canada's 2021 census. To close the housing gap, First Nations communities need about 55,000 new housing units and repairs to about 81,000 existing units at an estimated cost of $44 billion, according to the 2021 report by the Assembly of First Nations. This Auditor General's report found that there has been no meaningful improvement in housing conditions in First Nations communities. From 2015 to 2021, the percentage of homes in need of major repairs decreased from 20.8% to 19.7%, so next to no improvement, while the percentage of homes in First Nations communities that needed to be replaced increased from 5.6% to 6.5%. And these are some of the reasons why we're meeting today to discuss what can be done about it and how it's being done successfully in some places in British Columbia. So what are deep energy retrofits versus just a regular old renovation? The goal is to create more comfortable, healthier, more energy efficient buildings. They would be resilient to climate change, so they would be temperature extremes are less of a problem because it's properly insulated. They are more resilient to big storms. It addresses the air quality, so wildfire smoke, for example, that many of us are experiencing throughout the province every summer now. It takes care of some of those things. They are approached as a house as a system and envelopes first. So what does that mean? It means the house is a system, and if you change one thing, it dictates that you need to think about other things as well. So if you do more air sealing, but you haven't addressed the ventilation, you can cause other problems. And envelopes first means that if you're trying to seal up or improve your mechanical systems rather, in a really leaky home or one that doesn't have very much insulation, your energy costs and emissions are still going to be really high because all that heat or that cooling is just leaving through your walls and roof. Deep energy retrofits involve changes to the entire building. So that's going to be insulation, windows and doors, the air barrier, as well as ventilation, space and water heating equipment. And then to ensure emissions reductions as well as energy reductions, the energy retrofit must include fuel switching from fossil fuel sources to more carbon neutral sources, such as in British Columbia, electricity. So an average retrofit can save 10 to 20% of energy, while a deep retrofit can save up to 50 to 60%. So I've had an opportunity to work in Tinaha, a couple of Tinaha communities. I'm calling in from Tinaha Makis, the southeast corner of what's now known as British Columbia. And one of the benefits of doing this work is getting to learn from many different people and communities. So a Kiskinek retrofit journey was really interesting. It was a really holistic approach, and they are right now working on a case study that they're going to be presenting at their summer annual general assembly. And I'd be happy I get to talk about that at an upcoming webinar through Fraser Basin Council. I have permission from Akiskana to talk about that, and if we have a chance later today, we can chat. But really, the two main presenters are going to provide us lots of things to think about without getting too deep into that. And then I wanted to mention this other upcoming event. So there's a Northwest Energy Retrofit Forum. It's a collaboration of Building Legacy North and Nisga'a government. I'd like to invite you to join us. We're going to be having panel discussions and presentations from many different building science consultants and experts who have work in the space. I'm really excited about this event. So there's going to be a tour in Nisga'a Nation with the consultants and invited guests. And then there's going to be 2 more days where we're going to get these consultants talking about their different approaches and considering Nisga'a Nation's context, which is going to need hundreds of homes retrofitted over the next few years. And what are the workflow processes involved in there? What are the building science considerations? What is the site management? What's the integrated design process for something of that scale? And of course, that's going to apply anywhere, whether it's Nisga'a Nation, other First Nations communities, or settler communities, because we know that energy retrofits are one of the biggest opportunities for direct, tangible climate action. And we need to know how to do them well. If we don't take into account some good planning practices and many of the unknowns that come with retrofits, we can inadvertently create more problems than we started with. But the great thing is we have people that do know how to do these things and do them well and do them affordably. And I'm excited to talk about them in Nisga'a Nation and Terrace in June. If you'd like to contact me, you can contact me at bal@communityenergy.ca. There's our events page with many more events like this webinar and many in-person things that are happening around the province. And then this new resource that we just created, this Retrofit 101, is generic, unbranded retrofit materials that are a guide for contractors, for realtors, for your elected officials. And I invite you to go check that out. And now I'm very pleased to hand this over to Karim.
Great, thanks, Gaëtane. And you'll just as the host, you have to give Karim the co-host abilities there.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, thanks for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to share my screen.
I'm just on a.
Okay. Thanks for that introduction, and thanks to CA for hosting today. Yeah, honored to be next to Richard Hall, a legend in the space. So really meaningful for us and our team to be considered, experts here, and really excited to share a little bit about our philosophy and our approach to this work. We're calling this Beyond the Energy Audit because over the last 15 years, we really started our work in energy efficiency and doing energy retrofits and deep energy retrofits. And as we did more and more of this work with our partner nations, we really saw that, as the stats we heard earlier, there really is a housing crisis, not an energy efficiency crisis. And so our work really evolved from focusing purely on energy and moving to focusing on housing in a more holistic way. So I'm excited to share a little bit about how we approach that work and give some examples of the kind of things we think about as we move forward in that journey. So for those of you who don't know me, I saw some familiar faces on the chat already. My name is Karim Abraham. I'm the CEO at Community Power. I live in Coast Salish territory, specifically on Coquitlam ancestral land, and really grateful to live and work and play in this beautiful place we call home. And so Community Power started about 15 years ago, and our purpose as an organization and as a team is to empower Indigenous communities to build, upgrade, and maintain homes that are safe, healthy, durable, and energy efficient. And that's really guided our work for a really long time. And it's really the reason our team gets up in the morning. It's the reason we go to communities and build relationships and friendships and do the work. The way we do that is through really a kind of a unique set of core services. And I'll talk a little bit about what each of these mean and how we approach them. But I'd say the core of really what we do is our holistic housing assessments. As I mentioned, our focus is not just around energy. We've been in thousands of homes over the years in many beautiful places. And when we walk into a home that for sure could need some additional insulation or maybe needs a heating system upgrade, there's also a lot of other repairs and deficiencies that we find that are non-energy related. Could be issues with the roof or with the foundation or with plumbing issues. And so we really wanted to expand our assessments to ensure that we're adding the most value as possible to the communities that we serve, so that we're not having to go back into the same home multiple times, and we're really able to improve the condition of that home once and for all. So housing assessments, we do a lot of construction planning. We then move into finding and securing funding for the work, which is obviously an enormous effort and really critical to all of this work. And then construction and project management. So that's how do we move from assessments into actually doing the work in community? So how do we find trades? How do we find materials and think about logistics and accommodation and all the things that come along with trying to do work in remote communities? And so that's really the core of our work. As I mentioned, we've been doing this for about 15 years, and over that time, we've built some really incredible relationships with lots of nations. Here's a few of the nations that we've worked with, but I think to date we've worked with over 60 First Nations in BC, some in Alberta, and soon to be in Saskatchewan as well. So really grateful to have just really great partnerships with communities where we can really focus on outcomes for housing really specifically. And so, yeah, some of our guiding principles are around, how do we move beyond just energy? Energy efficiency is obviously a really important consideration for any home, but I think we can all agree when we think about our own homes, it's not the only thing we think about. Actually, we probably rarely think about it. But what we do want to make sure our homes are safe, right? We want to make sure they're healthy. There's no mold issues, or there's no, fire safety concerns. We want to make sure homes are durable as well, and they're going to last the test of time, and they're maintained properly. So we really see these things not as mutually exclusive, but how do we ensure that we create outcomes for every home to be safe, healthy, durable, and energy efficient, not just one of those things. And so with that in mind, and that kind of was the guiding philosophy for us, we really looked at how do we support nations and leadership and chief and councils to do and improve homes at scale. That's really the fundamental question that we're trying to solve, and the problems and the work that we do is how do we do this at scale. And so we start with, what are the questions that leadership needs answered before you can upgrade homes at scale? Many nations we work with, this is an enormous priority for chief and council, or for the leadership team or executive directors, whoever it might be. Housing is always, a really top issue. And so it's an important question on how do you get ready for repairs and energy upgrades at scale. And so some of the questions that, we always hear are these. So the first one seems trivial, but is really hard to answer. What work should be done in each home? Do we have an understanding of exactly what deficiencies or energy upgrades are needed in each home? What's the scope of work defined for each home? So that's a tough one to answer. How much is it going to cost? Obviously, really important. And not just how much is it going to cost in general terms, but in the community that this home is in, how much is it going to cost there? What's it going to cost to get materials there? What's it going to cost to have tradespeople stay in community for an extended period of time? What are the real costs of this work? Is there funding available to cover some of this cost? Obviously, that's a big priority. Who can do it? Are there contractors and trades that are available locally within the community or outside the community that can do it? And does the community have, or the nation have, capacity to take on a large-scale construction project? And that's something that varies from community to community. These are some of the questions. And then, we think about even more types of considerations, right? What kind of community engagement is needed for this work to be successful? How do we get the whole community on board? What are the cultural and lifestyle considerations for homes that may have been missed in the past, or there's an opportunity to improve those going forward? Is there energy reliability in the community? Are there concerns with putting in electric heating because they're on diesel generators? Are there access to materials? How do we prioritize homes? Are there homes that maybe should be retired instead of being repaired? There's a lot of these kind of high-level questions that we want to answer before we move into spending, lots of money on improving homes. And so the work that we do is really trying to get this bird's eye view of housing conditions so that we can move into a meaningful planning and construction process that really uses capital in the most effective way, so we can upgrade as many homes as we can. And so the way that we think about this is really moving from assessing homes, and I'll talk a little bit about each of these steps and what we look for in this work. So assessing homes is always kind of the first part. Then it's how do we prioritize that work? How do we pick the homes that we're going to start with, and maybe look at leaving some off the list initially. Sourcing funding is its whole, like do a webinar on just sourcing funding. Setting up the project, so who's the team involved? What are the materials? What do the contracts need to look like? All of the behind the scenes work that needs to happen. Then we can move into construction. And what we find often is that sometimes one or more of these steps is sometimes skipped, right? So often we see work is trying to be prioritized for specific homes, but not all of the homes have been assessed. And so maybe there's a home with really in need of repair, but that's not at the top of the list. And so we see that sometimes being skipped, or sometimes the project setup isn't is looked over, and so there's funding that's been secured and trying to move directly into construction, but scope of works haven't been created for each home. There isn't materials selection process, the QA process hasn't been created, there's no contracts, cost tracking. There's a lot of other work that has to happen when you're doing things at scale. And so we really want to make sure that our role is to support each one of these steps to make sure that things can be done in a really high quality way. Okay, so assessing homes is the first step, and as the title of the webinar suggests, like it's beyond it, the energy audit. So for us, we're looking at everything. We're looking at the kitchen, we're looking at the appliances, we're looking at the foundation, we're looking at the heating systems, you name it, we're looking at it. While we're looking at everything physically, we're also looking at recent repairs that have happened. We're doing a full energy evaluation of the home, so a blower door test. We're looking for health and safety concerns, whether that's mold and moisture, fire safety, other safety considerations within the home, whether there's, maybe there's a wheelchair ramp that needs to be fixed or stairs that are broken. Any health and safety things, we want to flag those right away in a separate way. And then we're really asking questions of the resident. What have they seen in their home? What are things that bug them about their home? What are some repairs that they really think are important? We want to make sure that that feedback gets built into the overall approach to the work, because that's obviously, just really foundational to bringing the community along and making sure that everybody's bought into the work in general. So this is part of our assessment team. These folks have been in hundreds, if not thousands, of homes over the last decade, and have seen everything. And I think the passion that our team has and the dedication to this work is really, the heart and soul of our organization. And so, testament to them and doing this work every single day. So big shout out to them. And so they're going into a home, they're looking at everything, we're collecting all this information. And the point of this is to provide really useful decision support to the nation, right? And so for each home, we're going to create a scope of work. We're going to identify which energy savings are going to be able to reduce costs for the home. We're going to provide real costs. We're going to provide a housing score, which I'll talk about in a second. We're going to identify critical issues. We often find things like active water leaks when we're in a home. So we want to identify those. We don't want to wait 3 months until a report comes out, but we want to flag those immediately in community, get maintenance teams active on those right away. As I mentioned, resident feedback, safety, health issues. So we're collecting all of this information and packaging it back in a way that's really useful. And again, it's to support the nation make decisions around homes. I'd say one of the toughest challenges for this work is really embedding real costs into outputs and into planning. We often see very rough estimates for how much a heat pump is going to cost or how much it's going to cost to install a new fridge or whatever it is. And those costs are obviously are frequently very inaccurate. They don't take into consideration the true cost of construction in remote communities. And so what our philosophy is providing pricing that looks at the local resources available, looks at the geography, looks at, what are travel costs going to be? What are accommodation costs, freight costs? Are there carpenters locally? Are there electricians that you need to fly in? All of these considerations provide the true cost of construction within these communities and help us, again, provide a really robust plan that isn't going to have surprises at the end of the day when things cost 2 or 3 times more. So expanding on the cost side a little bit. So we did a project for BC Housing a couple of years ago, really looking at what the true cost is relative to an urban setting, because a lot of times we see estimates for work that are, an urban setting, whether it's in, Prince George or Vancouver or Fraser Valley or wherever. That's not the reality of doing work in remote communities. And so a lot of our work is in Zone 3 and Zone 4. These are ISC zones. And you can see it's almost double, right? The cost to deliver construction in remote places is double. It's not a 10% more, 20% more, it's almost double. And so that makes things really challenging, because when you're having to do significantly more logistical planning to make sure materials arrive on the right day and your concrete trucks make it to the community at the right time, so tradespeople aren't standing around, and you're paying for people's accommodation and meals when they're in community, all of these additional logistics, project management, construction management costs really start to add up. And so making sure that you're starting with the understanding that things are going to cost roughly double is going to help you plan long term. And so when we're applying for funding, or we're talking to, whether it's utilities or the province for supporting the work, we're going in understanding that things are going to cost a lot more. And so there are fewer surprises at the end. Okay, so we've assessed the homes. We understand kind of where things are at. The next step is prioritizing the work. Again, determining which repairs and renovations should be done in each home. And the way we do this is really, we develop a project budget, a capital plan, incorporate that resident feedback, and then we look to prioritize homes either by trade partner or by home itself. So we can either, maybe we bring carpenters through and they do a bunch of different homes and we focus on that kind of work. Or maybe we just focus on a certain number of homes. Maybe we focus on elders' homes first. And so that all of that conversation and thinking is in collaboration with the nation. Our role is to provide.
I wasn't sure where Gary was going
to the nation. You can see on the right, there's this IHCI score, which is just a nice visual tool for us. So this is a way to provide a representation of how much repairs cost within one home.
Oh, it's fine there.
Relative to the cost to replace that home. And this is just, again, a really easy tool to showcase for the whole community where the condition of homes are at. So again, we're using real costs. And so we're not saying, what we are saying, it's going to cost $30,000 truly to repair this home, but we're also comparing that to replacing that home to a better standard. We're not comparing it to replacing like for like. And so that makes it a much more practical tool for nations to make decisions on. And so what you get at the end of the day is, this really nice visual representation where you can see, so for this community, for example, there's about 40 homes here. You can see, almost a third of them are in pretty good condition in green and yellow, a low percentage. About a third are in okay shape, so in orange. And then you can see there are a number of homes in tough condition. And so this helps us plan which homes we should focus on. And we get an aggregate cost for all of the work, how much energy can be saved across the whole community, and really start to plan the work for construction going forward. So it's a really important step. Next, really important step is finding the money. And so we've got a funding team that goes out and tries to find the money to fund this work. There are lots of funding. There is lots of funding available right now, especially for BC First Nations, through ISC, CMHC, through the utilities, and the province as well. So, this is by no means an exhaustive list, and it's always changing. So reach out to us if you want to understand this a little bit more. But there is significant funding, both for energy or for housing assessments and for the upgrades after the fact as well. So, between $70,000 and $140,000 per home from ISC. Obviously some criteria associated with that, but there is some substantial funding available right now. So a good time to do this type of work. First Nations Health Authority needs to be involved in this work as well to get to, if there are health and safety concerns, whether it's mold and moisture or fire safety or a number of different things. So we want to encourage folks to bring in FNHA at the right moment in time as well to do their assessments, so you can unlock their funding as part of this work. So again, coordination and project management that has to happen. There's often energy rebates available from the utilities to do this work. And I'd say, a philosophy is really trying to stack all of this funding together. I wouldn't say that one utility energy efficiency program should lead an entire project, but we find that they can be stacked with larger funding pools to make a project go further and to be able to include more homes and to be able to do more work in each home. So there is, again, significant funding, and I know the utilities right now are looking at increasing those funding dollars as well. Specifically for ISC, so again, the housing support program, there's up to $100,000 through their capacity stream for housing assessments and $140,000 for repairs. So really encourage folks, if you haven't heard of this, reach out to your ISC rep, we're happy to chat as well, but this is a really great source of funding right now to do this work. There is obviously some, putting an application together takes time and effort, but we've seen a ton of success in this program over the last number of years. Okay, so we've assessed the homes, we've prioritized the homes, we've sourced the funding. Now we move into project setup. And the goal of project setup is really to build the team, right? So who's going to be doing what? Who's going to be doing the construction? Who are the carpenters? Who are the accountants tracking all of the costs? Who's project managing? Who's doing inspections? Who's making sure that energy efficiency is built in? So it's really about building a team and where people know what they're doing. And this is going to be a mix of nation staff. This is going to include hopefully community members that are part of the construction process. Maybe youth are involved. It's going to likely involve external contractors and consultants like us to help kind of do some of the back end paperwork and administration and reporting to funders. So there's a significant team that needs to be built out to do these projects at scale. We're often talking between $1 to $3 million projects, and so they're substantial in size, and they require a lot of expertise to be done well. Here's an example of our team in Takla. We've got our construction manager Tim with the Takla housing team and Wildlands construction team. All smiles all around for this team. And again, it's understanding and building a team that knows who's accountable for what. And I would really encourage folks to spend the time when you're doing these large construction projects to identify who is responsible and accountable for what different elements. And so this project setup phase is a whole bunch of stuff. And it's, this is not an exhaustive list by any stretch, but it's, finding and vetting contractors, making sure that they are the right people to do the work. We're including local resources as much as possible. So that's, how do we include the youth or local trades, logistics planning, budgeting and cost tracking, reporting requirements to ISC or whoever's involved. There's a lot of paperwork and effort that needs to go in to set this all up. We need to make sure we have contracts in place with the contractors so they understand when they're getting paid, how they're getting paid, what they're being judged on, and really setting the standard for success. What does success look like? Which again, just takes time to build all of these things. And so once we've done that, we've got a project budget, we've got a project schedule, we have a safety plan, we have reporting templates created. All of that setup is done. Now we can move into construction. Now we can start swinging hammers and we can start to get the work done. And again, it can be really hard to slow down once funding gets in and has been approved to take the time to build that team and not just jump straight into construction and get folks that have always done the work in the past to come in and do this. That's where we see budget issues and schedule issues and quality issues come into play. So we really advised to do that setup as much as possible. And so this is where things get fun, right? This is when we start to repair homes where, here's a couple examples of, late night deliveries of insulation and starting to get to do the work. Here's a few kitchens that, we've been a part of the construction in Takla Nation. And so this is where we really start to see the benefit and the impact to the families and people living in the homes. And so this process from assessment to construction can take anywhere from 9 months to 18 months to get to this point. So can be a long process. We try to speed it up as much as we can, but there's a lot of folks that need to be involved in this. So getting to this point is really a huge milestone for the team. And so then as part of this construction process, we want to make sure that we're doing QA. We want to make sure that we're training folks as much as we can. Are there either folks in the administration that want to learn how to do project management, or again, are there trades or youth that want to be involved? How do we get the residents excited about this? What kind of community engagement do we do? What do we do with waste? How do we manage all of the construction waste that gets created as part of these works? So again, it's about understanding that there's a large iceberg under the work of construction, and having a team that can manage and adapt to the work is really important. I'd say nothing is going to go perfectly right in remote community construction. There's always going to be hiccups. There's going to be things that go completely off the rails. But if you've got a team that is adaptable, that has experience, you're able to right those wrongs a little bit easier. So again, we'd say it's really important to build out a team that understands, that can be adaptable and that can roll with the punches that are inevitably coming. Okay, I know I'm almost out of time and happy to answer questions soon. I've got a few more slides about some of the work that we've done specifically in Tackle Nation. Tackle is one of our recent and really rewarding partners that we've worked with over the last 5 years. We've done a ton of work there. We started in 2020 doing housing assessments, holistic housing assessments. We then supported in building 7 duplexes or 14 new units. We, 2023, we also started repairing or doing renovations on 23 homes. We then started building 10 new modular homes, and we're currently in the process of working on additional renovations for 2024. So as of today, with 24 new units in the community, as well as renovating 23 existing units, it's almost half of the homes in that community we've had an impact in it, and that is why we do this work. Here's a great photo of one of the duplexes being built. And so this is a hydronic heating system in the concrete slab foundation, and all of the work was done by a local contractor relatively close by. And so that was a really great partnership between ourselves, Wildland Construction, which is the nation's construction company, and the nation itself. So as I mentioned, so the housing renovations that went through this same process. So we assessed and prioritized 23 homes. $1.2 million was secured through ISC. We had a mix of local and external contractors do the work. That was completed very recently. Again, it was a partnership between a multitude of stakeholders. So really proud of that work and the impact that we've had in that community. And the funding for that was provided by ISC, CMHC, the BC Indigenous Clean Energy Initiative also funded some of the initial energy planning in that, and BC Hydro as well. So thanks to all the sponsors and funders for that project. Okay, almost done. So this process that I outlined, going from assessments to prioritizing to securing funding, we've really found that having this path that we know works and that we have really key outcomes and milestones at each stage has really resonated with our partner nations. And so we're currently working with about a dozen that are going through this exact same process. So really rewarding to see how well this is being reflected by the nations that are excited to get on board with something really similar. Again, because there's funding available for the assessments to get to the point where you can understand what work needs to be done in each home, there's a ton of interest in this approach. So yeah, really, really grateful for all of our partners. Okay, 2 last slides. So we've got a dedicated funding team. So if people want to chat to us about what funding is available, how we actually go through this process, please reach out. I'll put up my contact details up at the end. We've supported over $15 million of housing and renovation funding in the last 3 years, and that's really all in service of our multi-year housing upgrade plan. And so, this is really just how we've approached it. It's about, finding a complete picture for all homes in the community will help plan long-term, large-scale projects. And that identification of critical issues right away, so you're not waiting for fixing those up front. So that's all from me. Happy to answer any questions. If you're interested in reaching out, you can scan this QR code or go to our website, communitypower.ca. Again, this is just kind of our approach to this work. There are lots of other approaches that we've seen, but we're really proud of the work we've done with a number of different nations. And so happy to answer any questions about how we've approached it or any of the challenges that we've gone through over the last number of years. Otherwise, I'll leave it there.
Thank you so much, Karim. An excellent presentation. Speaking of things going off the rails, Richard Hall is having a really challenging time getting into this Zoom meeting. And so we may have a little bit of extra time, but I do encourage lots of questions and discussion right now while we're we're waiting for Richard to join us. We got time, and there's plenty of things to speak about there. Lots of food for thought.
Questions at all? High level cost. Yeah, that's a great question, Nick. Yeah, so speak to the high level cost and time differences between a standard home energy audit versus your more comprehensive home assessment. Yeah, a really great question. I think from our perspective, the most expensive part of doing an assessment, whatever it might be, in a remote First Nation community is getting to the home. So the amount of like the cost of sending either one or two people to the community, being able to get into that home, the logistics, the planning, that is the expense. So our philosophy is while we're there, let's do as much as we possibly can. I would say in terms of, you know, hours to do our assessment versus like an interguide evaluation as an example, very similar. I'd say, you know, probably within half an hour of each other. So not that much different. We are collecting enough energy information to run a HOT 2000 model. So we're still getting the same amount of output from an energy perspective, but we're not collecting all of the same information as an energy evaluation. Our approach is we always send in two people into each home. So we send in kind of a construction or a housing inspector, basically, as well as an energy evaluator. And so both folks are going into the home. They're collecting data simultaneously, but individually. So one person is looking at all the heating systems and again, doing the blower door test while the other person is looking for deficiencies from a construction perspective. And so may seem more expensive, but actually the value you get out of that is that you can then, it opens the door to both energy initiatives and construction initiatives. And we've had, and TAC was a great example of this. We initially did energy only assessments in the community, but we actually did the same holistic assessments. And so what happened was when we were ready to do renovations, we already had all the construction data available. And so I'd say the cost is very not significantly more in terms of money to do that, but the value you get out of it is significantly more. But yeah, we do send in two people to each team, or sort of into each home, which is actually just a better experience for the residents as well. We can have that conversation. You know, one person can really engage with the resident while the other person is collecting data, and so that just leads to a more effective outcome. Richard Joseph, your remote team looks very competent. Thanks, Richard. It's because it's a picture of you. How do you specifically approach the issue of capacity building within communities, i.e. external versus internal contractors, relationship building, long-term approach to maintaining capacity? Really good question. This is something that I'd say is every community is completely unique in this regard. You know, many communities have maintenance teams and housing teams that do this work constantly. And so they don't need a ton of support from an organization like ours. Fort Nelson First Nation is a great example of this. And so when we provide the assessment reports and, you know, a prioritized plan, they can take that and do it all internally themselves. And so that, you know, then they may lean on us for some of the funding support, but not necessarily the renovation support. Other communities don't have that same level of capacity internally, or maybe their maintenance team there's a lot of maintenance to do, but they can't take on $1 million renovation project. And so it's very much, you know, I'd say our philosophy is never, this is what should be done. It's really, here's some decision support, and it's a conversation with the housing team, leadership on what is needed. How do we build this team? Who can be involved? Are there youth that want to get involved? Does the housing team want to be involved in the renovations? Or are they too busy working on new construction? It's very much just how do we build the team that is needed to do this work, and that is completely different in every community that we work in. So, not a great answer, but I think as long as the intention is there from the start to build a team that can build capacity, then it can be really it can work really well.
Okay, so Karim, James Berger is going to be one of our presenters and consultants that's coming to the Northwest Energy Retrofit Forum in June. And he's asking, retrofit work is tricky building science adventure and can lead to many unintended consequences. How is the building envelope evaluated with respect to the 4 major control layers, i.e. the thermal layer, air thermal, water, and vapor? And in terms of energy reduction, fire resilience, and climate change?
Great question. Yeah. That's a question for my construction team, to be honest. Like I don't have a great answer for you on that. I'd say we have a really good practical understanding of what each home needs, and there's often this this academic approach that we want to get homes to net zero, and we want to, you know, really do very deep energy retrofits within each home. When homes are in really poor condition and they're unlivable, that can seem like a goal that is not necessarily too realistic. And so our philosophy is really on how do we improve the conditions of this home, and how do we ensure that the $1 million that the nation has to do this work is used in the best possible way. So it's, for us, it's a capital allocation issue more so than how do we look at every single home from a net zero or, you know, a building science perspective. And so I don't have a great answer for that. I'd love to chat to you more. I'd love to pull in our building science team, our construction team to answer that. But I'd say just from a high level philosophy, we look at how do we make sure that this money goes into the right homes to improve the quality of life for the residents, as opposed to how do we make sure that the building science for each home is as efficient and as maximized as possible. So it's a bit of a balance between that kind of very academic, almost like perspective versus, you know, how do we just use the money in the best way. I saw Leo's comment that the real cost of housing should include the operating cost for each home. Absolutely. So the slide that I showed, which was the construction costs, is just for construction. I do actually have within that same report, we looked at the operating costs of homes as well, and comparing that to the cost of preventative maintenance versus reactive maintenance. So Leo, I will share that with you directly, and maybe that's a good topic for another day. But 100% agree that that's really a really valid point. Speak more about FCI. Absolutely. Stan coming in with a good question. Let me find the right slide here. Share my screen. Okay, so our Indigenous Housing Condition Index. So this is a metric that is modeled on FCI, or Facilities Condition Index. In Facilities Condition Index, you're looking at a specific building or asset, really, and you're comparing what is the cost to fix it or, you know, repair it relative to the replacement cost of that asset, right? And so the difference between what that is to this Indigenous Condition Index is that, again, 2 major differences. One is that we are using the real true world costs of repairs. So in this example, you know, the house number 1 or 1090, there's $117,000 worth of repairs. That includes project management costs. That includes accommodation. That includes logistics and freight. Typically, you wouldn't include those in a Facilities Condition Index cost. Those would be kind of additional costs. So we're using real costs here. And then you're dividing that by the replacement cost. So it's going to cost $117,000 to repair this home, compared to how much is it going to cost to replace this home? Again, in a traditional asset management approach, you would look at, okay, I've got a house that, you know, it was built in 1970, and the replacement cost would be, how do I rebuild that home to the same quality? Well, no one's going to do that. That's just not realistic. You're never going to build a home to that quality again. You're going to build it to a new standard. And so we want to make sure that we're comparing it again, using the true cost of construction, today's costs, but building a home to today, pick a, whether it's step code or a different building code, you're going to build to that standard. So we're not comparing it to, previous standard. We're comparing it really how you would make a decision. Should I repair this home or should I rebuild this home? And so that score is unique for every community because it's based on true costs, and it's unique in its ability to compare it to the real replacement cost of a unit. So it's a great decision-making tool. It allows you to look at, again, a large array of homes at one time. So you can look at 50 homes at a time, get a really good understanding of what is the condition of homes in this community, how many of them are in good shape, how many of them are not in good condition, and then that helps, again, the nation plan where should funding go. And I always come back to this capital allocation is really kind of the key to all of this, is how do we leverage capital to its most effective way to improve as many homes as we can. Anything else?
Sierra asks, will it be possible to convert existing buildings to net zero energy? And if yes, what steps should be taken?
Yeah, I'd say again, from my perspective, and this is my own opinion, is that when we think about allocating capital, if you are trying to take a home to net zero, that's an expensive endeavor. And I know there's lots of folks that would say that it can be done at a relatively similar cost to not doing net zero. And that, I think that depends on where the home is and what condition it is and what the true costs of construction are in that location. But for us, it's capital allocation. There's a finite budget. And so maybe there's 50 homes in the community that need repair, and we've got $2 million. Does it make sense to bring a home to net zero? Or does it make sense to try to improve the lives of as many people in that community as we can through improving homes? I would argue the latter is more important, but that's a different question, right? And so we don't go into this work and say, okay, how many homes can we get to net zero? We say, how do we get as much funding as possible from as many places as possible to improve as many homes as possible? And that mentality is very different. It's not about net zero. That's like improving energy efficiency, reducing energy bills, reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Those are all additional benefits that come out of this work. But our North Star is improving the lives of the families and the homes, as opposed to starting with GHG emissions. Because if you start with GHG emissions, your decision-making would be very different. And so I think there's an important distinction there between what the goals of the community are and what the goals of funders are as well. Okay, there's some good questions here. With recent cost escalation, what is your view on deferred maintenance? Is it people's interest to try to do projects sooner rather than later? Yeah, so I'm happy to share the report we did on maintenance. I can't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I think it was, a relatively small number. I think it was about $1,000 in maintenance costs, proactive maintenance costs per home per year would effectively cut the operating costs of that home over its entire lifetime in half. Or if you avoid that maintenance, you're going to double the cost of the operating costs of that home over its lifetime. So I'd say even if costs, inflation increases costs by 10, 20%, that fundamental is not going to change. It's going to be significantly more expensive to repair and operate that home over the long term. And that home is likely not going to last as long. So I would say always, always, always the preventative maintenance element is always going to be valuable. Okay, what process do you use to vet contractors to make sure they are able to complete the work effectively to standard and with care and consideration? Great question. There's a lot of different factors that go into this. We do actually have a kind of a scoring matrix that we use when we're evaluating contractors, often we're doing a bid. So we're identifying the scope of work, we're inviting contractors to bid on the work. But a lot of times nations have great relationships with existing contractors, or we have good relationships with existing contractors, and we want to leverage those as much as we can. I think in, today's reality is that access to good contractors is really hard. It's hard to find good contractors. And so when a nation has a relationship with a contractor that they trust, that they feel like the pricing is reasonable, that they know the community, that they're part of the community, that is worth a tremendous amount. And so we want to encourage those relationships as much as we can. We will provide some vetting. We want to make sure that accountabilities are really clearly defined. We want to ensure that cost tracking is done well. We want to make sure scope creep doesn't happen. We're kind of making sure that, things operate smoothly, but I'd say existing relationships are the best. If there aren't existing relationships or there are capacity issues, that's when we would look to additional contractors. And then we would kind of go through that same scoring process to find out, have they done work in nations previously? What's their work quality? We'll check references. We'll kind of go through that whole process with the nation, and we sit on the nation side of the table to help that work. Okay, let's see what else we got. What this chart suggests an average ROI of 60 years. I'm not sure what. Oh, this must be for energy savings. Potentially, it depends. Yeah, so I would say, like, again, if the capital allocation formula was focused on reducing energy bills, you may have a different perspective, right? Because if you're fixing a broken toilet, you're not getting an ROI on that from an energy perspective, right? Or if you're replacing flooring that hasn't been replaced in 30 years, you're not getting an ROI. And so the costs that we're identifying here, so $2.5 million, yes, there's some energy savings associated with it, but this is around improving housing conditions. Maybe this is fixing a roof. Maybe there's a cracked foundation, or there's a bathroom that needs, remodeling. Those are all, there's no ROI on those from an energy perspective, but they're important considerations from a bird's eye view of the condition of homes. So yeah, in this example, it's a 60-year ROI, but you're not just spending money on energy work. So I'd say it's a little bit different. Okay. Great questions, really good questions. Okay, well, maybe I'll leave it there. Again, I'll put up my contact details if anybody wants to reach out.
Thank you, Karim. This is excellent.
I'll tell you who I am. My name is Richard Hall from Bellacoola. I've been in housing for about 38 years. I started off in 1986 as a laborer and then went to apprenticeship, then became a red seal carpenter in 1991, where here in Newhawk, I started building the social housing program with our nation, built 120 homes. Out of that came a person in my life that said, "Hey, Rich, we need you to go back to school." And so no way, I don't want to go to school. Anyway, I went to school, became an inspector, building inspector for a corporation in Vancouver, where I traveled BC on reserve officer inspections. But being from the coast, I wanted to understand what they're dealing with, because the life expectancy of home was 7 years before we had to spend $70,000 to upkeep it again and pay 25-year mortgage on top of that. To me, that was a little bit crazy. But as an inspector, I wasn't allowed to say liabilities of sorts, so government liabilities and stuff like that. So I started to work on problem solving, putting in pen and paper. And when I left the corporation in 2014, I came home to Bella Coola and rebuilt our nation pretty much. Walked into the nation knowing 3 people in housing, and after 3 years work, 56 people working for me. And we started to not only build capacity in the community about the carpentry program, but we connected with BCIT, the Construction Foundation, Fraser Basin Council, and looked for all the tools and all the people to work with, and even includes architects, engineers, and consultants, and suppliers. At the same time, we invested in our own people, utilizing what resources we had. We have a gravel pit, so we invested in the concrete gravel pit, concrete batch plant. We had a sawmill, so we start cutting our lumber and start cutting our siding. But utilizing what resources you have to minimize their cost of building, because we're building at $300-400 a square foot before I came here. And now we got it down to, I think the realistic 3-bedroom home we built at $110 a square foot with the guys. After we did the first year carpentry program, the second year carpentry program got better and better, and I also incorporated into our housing plan work descriptive plan for the carpenters and apprentices, so they know what they were doing and what their job was to do, and not to stand and wait to do something, but get there or do it. I think that was half the success right there. But with that, building capacity and bringing the carpentry program here was a solution that paid well off. It paid real good dividends, meaning everybody got a career, everybody got a job, it created economic stimulation with the community. And we now have 10 or 11 red seals, and we found the strength of each one and motivated them forward. And now we have some of the carpenters went to electrical, some of them went into plumbing, some of them went into different fields, energy, all kinds of things, clean energy, and what we're doing today. But the work, undertaking the work is has to be, mapped out and outlined for success. Meaning, putting differences aside, political differences aside, or whatever they might be, stopping progress and move the file forward. And that was what I found the most successful thing. And the support system that evolved with the carpenters was, holy smokes, it blew my mind. It's better than I expected, because the apprentices and the carpenters, they supported each other. Then the parents supported the carpenters and apprentices. Then the community supported it. Now we're building our own. But that was a real good insight beyond my expectations, that we had all the people in the community to do the work. And all my cohorts for the carpentry program were all single men, single women that had children and could not afford to go to school. So bringing the carpentry program here was a win-win all the way around, and I encourage that to many nations now to do that, so you can build your own. You don't have people coming in picking your pockets, so to speak, and then giving you a crappy home. But that's in the past. So once the work all started and I left the nation, I I still had work to do, so I created a new building standard based on all information that I gathered in the 20 years as an inspector. And I inspected over 6,000 homes in BC. But the first 5 years, my focus was the west coast of BC because I saw the huge, the, the, the majority of the crises were in the west coast. The design didn't meet the west coast, didn't meet the elements, didn't meet our cultural lifestyle. And they were getting constructed from $300 to $500 a square foot. Even retrofits today, I'm seeing at $800 a square foot. And I said, why are you guys doing that? You know, people are going in and doing that, doing what they're always done, and you'll get what you always got. So do it differently. I always say that to people. That way, by creating a building standard, you can do that. And you're the one that holds the final bill. You're the one that holds the pen and paper. And you're the one that is the authority. And people have to understand that it's your community, your house. The federal government doesn't live there. And Indian agents don't live there. You live there. You're built to meet your needs, not the government needs. So the work I started now today, I created a booklet that's called West Coast Building Standard, but that booklet has probably 20 to 30 features related to our culture, our homes that we need. They're constructed with interior concepts for people with disabilities, utilizing material from our backyard. They're designed for a better life expectancy. They're designed with a low carbon footprint. They're designed with design spaces to complement each other. And their designs are easily adaptable for your community. So this booklet has a committee that's working with us, and some of them might be listening today, but they have strengthened the booklet by incorporating their challenges into the booklet. And we're also designing an education curriculum for building science, building technology, energy efficiency with a low carbon footprint in this booklet. Here's the booklet now, that's myself. But this education curriculum will be teaching building science to First Nations in BC. And I found that BC is leading edge. BCIT and the work we're doing is leading edge in building science, building technology. Here's the booklet that if you see on the screen, the people that worked with to create this is David Wong Architecture, Sea to Sky Architecture. You see the logo down on the bottom there, right there, and myself and RDH Building Science. I put it together and I created the booklet, and then I worked with the building science people to create building science features that are simple concepts, that are affordable concepts, that are now showing the real true cost, not only to construct, but to manage over the day. So when I say managed, most people pay $12 to $15 a day for their operation of their home, and this home design and is costing us $1.50 a day to run. So what are you going to do? You know, pay $15 a day, $1 a day, but build a team to support it and build the education for it. If you go back in a few pages, and we also Also, we've created educational videos for children to reconnect the children to the adult and adults to the children. I'm a survivor with the residential school system, so I know what happened there, and I decided to reconnect the children to adult and adult to children. And most people that are alive today have experienced the same trauma I experienced, but I chose not to live there, but do something different. In the booklet, if you go to the drawing, stop at that one. I think the cultural component there. It's a cultural kitchen, and I'll give you an example why a cultural kitchen is important. For the west coast of BC, I used to walk in the homes, social housing program, and the kitchen on the west coast, people would be boiling water, boiling fish, creating their salmon, doing their salmon in their beautiful kitchen, and that lasted for 3-4 years, and then have to do some renovation to that. So I designed a cultural kitchen, an access way to that cultural kitchen. All you see in gray is all made of material that's most manages moisture, and what you see in the drawings, all the plumbing is centrally located, so you minimize your costs. All the bedrooms are centrally located, so they all have a wheelchair accessible, and they're larger than normal room. They're 10 by 16, which means they're wheelchair accessible. They're designed for people already with people with disabilities. All the doors have wheelchair accessible, and the living space open like our cultural needs are for meetings, for dance practices, for gatherings and stuff like that. That's who we are as people. And it's also designed, if you go back a couple of pictures there, Gaëtane, designed with 2 spaces. One more. Sorry, other direction right there in the pink. Those are designed and conditioned crawl spaces that complement the living space. Then I have a designed attic space that complements the living space. So for us here in the West Coast in Ballacoola here, we're not connected to the grid, so we have a forced air system, diesel fuel, and interconnected to the heat pump, which is your heating and cooling system for the home. And you see the white part there is that pretty much semi-conditioned. That place has got access to white square there in that left side there. That is a little stairwell to the storage space below that. So, but it has many features. And I had to create a work document for the features, but the material selected was to manage mold, the design, the interior design concept were also to manage contractors, so we didn't need to hire people to come in to do our mudding. We created a formula to minimize that altogether. And of course, the room sizes we use 12 by 16 specifically because the material we're using to complete the ceiling is not drywall, it's spruce, pine, fir, or cedar. The reason for using cedar and wood is that they absorb moisture, dissipate moisture just as fast. But if you go out to the features, you go to the features of the home, the elevations of the homes, there's a standardization formula. All my windows are 5030, with the exception of the living room where elders told me that as inspector, the elders told me, Richard, don't take my big window away. I like looking out. I respect that. But there's no wood burning appliances in these units. They're designed heating systems and they're affordable because I found that in the West Coast, wood burning appliances were the worst thing to have in the home because the erratic temperature changes and erratic heat and cooling and cause a lot of contaminants when in concealed spaces, which we didn't know until it came evident as mold or biological contaminants. So I said, well, I'll design the heating systems. And that's a booklet. I think a lot of more features than that on the booklet. And there's no vinyl siding. There's no OSB. There's no melamine. No cheap products. The triple pane windows, LED lighting, all designed to complement the energy file. And the building envelope is wood or cedar siding. The cedar siding we cut from our mill, and we found that cutting our cedar down and making the siding was a challenge, simply because our mill was not updated, where industry has really high profile sawmills, and you can work out deals with them they want the cans and they want the excess lumber. Work out deals with them, minimize your costs overall. If you go down to the elevations, you go down to the elevation, Gaëtane. I'll stop you. But right down one back, 2 back. Yeah, you look at the elevations and you see the door. There's that door there. It's door. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but there's a door there. It's wheelchair accessible. It has a window on top, so we create a lot of own passive flow ventilation in these homes. You see where the door swings open, and there's a wooden strip. That's a door stop. And you look at the beam. That's a beam cut from our woods, but there's a lot of features that I need to go through that. But the self-explanatory in the booklet and the Word document I have support it. And we found that the home design was scrutinized by BC, and I welcomed them to scrutinize it and to help me build a better booklet. And they did. So we found the carbon footprint of the home design. It was average when they did an assessment of it. Now we got it below the national average of carbon footprint, which means off-gassing materials are user-friendly. And that's much as I can tell you right now without being one-on-one with y'all. So I see that this booklet has gone national. It can be easily adapted for your community. And we found that we built these homes from $110 to $150 a square foot with their own people, our own resources. And I know the Nisga'a Nation is a huge organization, and they should create a building standard for their people, for the climate, and utilize the materials that are right in their backyard, and utilize the resources right in their backyard, their people to build it and catch up to what they need to do. But this book has gone national. I've been talking about it a lot, but it's up to you. And the people that hold the pen will be yourself. Any more further than that, I think our nation and our people need to be the authority having jurisdiction. They should invest in the housing champion and the energy champion, create a building standard that will define costs and manage labor, and create a land code enforcement code to meet their needs. Not mine. This is just a template that I created, and I got nothing to hide, nothing to lose. It's my experience of 38 years. And I put a pen to paper, simple as that. For all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. Richard is another one of the consultants who will be with us at the Northwest Energy Retrofit Forum in June. We look forward to seeing you there too.
That's in June, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, yeah, June 12th. Yeah.
I invite you to put your questions in the chat. Bruce E asked, why hydronic in the prototype? Does this not make it difficult for integrating CCASHP? And I don't know what that acronym is. Could you, could someone who knows what that is, Bruce or someone else, put that in the chat? Heat pump. Okay, thank you.
Why hydronic the prototype does this not make it difficult integrating the CCA and what the acronym means. I experimented with infrared radiant heating. I experimented with different types of heating systems, and the person that came up with the solution is, I think he's on the call today, heating specialist out of North Vancouver. Exterior insulation wasn't considered because I wanted to keep it affordable. And the work I'm doing with BCIT right now is that we found that industry led practices of passive house design, layering 20 inches insulation on your buildings was not affordable for First Nations because it was costly. But with building envelope, vapor barriers and air barriers, we're creating the same thing with practices. And of course, and the application process of applying insulation into your attic, into your spaces, is a process that is taught. I taught everybody here at building science and building technology so they can do that and keep it affordable. That's probably the major reason I designed this book, was to keep the affordable concepts all in mind, and HRVs, ERVs, and INGs, I call them. I said you don't need it when you have a passive flow ventilation, but I wouldn't say no to it. It just means that it costs you another nickel to flip on the switch, and it's up to you. Um, it's up to you for that matter. And yeah, we used the community as a guinea pig and found the solutions here, and used the guys to build them for me. And we did testing on them. I've been watching them and looking at some of the concepts, how we can make it better, and how we can make it more affordable. Reading the chat, so the guidance including the building set and how buildings are oriented and minimize their operation. Yes, we're creating that with the videos, like the orientation, even inserting solar panels and everything else like that. Wheelchair accessible. They're 10 inches above ground, so your ramps are 10 feet long or 10 to 12 feet long with a landing. Double door, really, really accessible. And all those features are incorporated into the design. The structural grade trusses, they're 3-foot overhangs, so that minimizes a lot of the activity hitting the building. And
So, I can always hear myself.
Can you speak about the
Dre,
importance of sourcing lumber? Oh yeah.
Dre Isaac asked, can you speak about the importance of sourcing milling your own lumber, as
It's,
well as the need for trades training to work alongside these projects for cost-saving measures.
yeah, when you build a home, and industry got this market now that you need a certified stamp to construct homes, but as authority having jurisdiction, you can mill and cut your own lumber. You're the authority having jurisdiction, you can design your own stamp. I probably have to meet the industry needs for moisture content, which is, it's 19% minimum. It's easy to do, but you have a good profiling machine, like a siding profiling, a tongue and groove siding profile. It's cost savings overall. Um, um, all off grades, like here in Bellacula, we have a mill. We focus on making cans because the industry wants that. With excess lumber, we keep and put in the mill, kiln, to get the moisture content down. And by storing in the shelter space, we'll get the content down. But the guys are cutting stuff like that now. Then we're working with an organization, UBC, John Bass. He has 9 architects, junior architects, working with them to design timber frame homes for us here, and that's utilizing our resources. That's what we're doing. But industry wants to get their hands in there and say, "I know you have to buy it from us," but I don't think that's right myself. Yeah, the details are well thought of, and the guys that are working with me on the booklet are 4 additional inspectors, one from the north, Ernie Westgarth, one from the south, Chris Alphonse, one from the interior, Joe Shooter, and myself, and Leo Hibbert from Prince George, been working with me on the booklet to strengthen it for our people. And the simpler, the better. And when we're building homes, I kept on saying, keep it affordable to the building science people, to the architect, keep it affordable for our people. It doesn't have to be industry led anymore, because Article 23 says to manage First Nations to manage their own housing and build capacity to support it. Here's some of the tools that you need, that I would say that you need to learn about and invest in, especially your own people, because that systemic thinking that we have, is that the government does it all for us. We need it, but we got to do it for ourselves.
Stan Knight, who's a member of the Nishka Housing Committee, along with Dre, asks, how are you managing to do it for $110 per square foot? Could you share the actual cost for the build? I would love to build for this cheap. And where do these fall in the step code?
Well, they met step code 4 and 5. They surpassed step code 3 easily, and step code 5, by not only building capacity, but giving the guys a job description. Apprentice, your job is to get the material on the floor. Apprentice 1, your job is to help the layouts here. As a red seal carpenter, your job is to organize and get the walls built. And I gave them job descriptions, and we were building the rancher type homes in 3 days. Trusses were on in a week, and we're started to finishing and installation and finishing. That the NAMI that changed that to date was the shortage of materials because of COVID, and the the shortage of materials and the cost of materials went up. We're building his house in 2018 for 110. So it changes with industry, because we're industry led on most, buying products. The drawings are, I said, David, David Wong, and he's known by the Niska people. He told me that he was adopted by the Niska people. He's very compassionate to our First Nations homes and First Nation people. I said, David, those are the drawings. I said, you can manage them. It's just a model template. It'll take 3 or 5 days to get the roof on. Then you start your finishing. Then your trades come in. They're
I'd
public
like,
available. The drawings are public available with David Wong, Sea to Sky Architecture. And he charges a fee to get them up to construction standards, meaning for construction purposes only. I let them handle that. I didn't want any part of that. But that was the template that we used here.
okay. So the drawings are available through Sea to Sky, David Wong, and it takes
Yeah.
about 3 to 5 days to get to put the roof on and start finishing. I'm wondering right now if we could just pause. I want to continue this discussion and invite Karim to join in and others as well. But I'm just wondering if the audience, would you take an opportunity right now to do a feedback poll for us so that we know how we did and how we can do better and what other topics you may be interested in hearing after this event. And Jenna, if you could just make that poll live and then please come back. We still have more time for more discussion. Super. Thanks, folks, for letting me know that you were able to finish and we can get rolling again. Richard, my colleague Rachel Buski asks, how common is it that First Nation communities have access to their own timber supply and mill shop to keep costs down?
Not so common. Not so common because we have a logging industry. We have a logging business here. And for others, there's a program called free use permit up to 50 cubic meters. You're allowed to extract with that permit, but it's not that common for most communities. If they do, they don't know about it, but we have a logging company here and a mill here. The problem is, getting a certification stamp for your lumber has to meet that criteria. I haven't looked into that in any more depth than that. It's just industry led, like most other things that are created for that.
So James Percival, who's part of he's the building official for Nisga'a Nation, asks, he's wondering if you ended up sourcing prefab trusses or if you ever looked into forming partnerships with local truss producers. This particular component seems to have a lot of scrutiny when it comes to construction approvals.
I would say yes. I would say yes. The type of trusses I have are clear span, simply because I wanted clear span trusses because I can move walls anywhere I want to without endorsement from an architect or an engineer, especially when I'm dealing with people with disabilities and they need their room or walls moved. It costs you $15,000 to get it done. But I incorporated that into the design. And high heel trusses 5 kPa, meaning they're high heeled for insulation purposes, and 5 kPa means they're designed for 100 pounds per square foot. And yes, the heat pump systems they're getting a lot better now. They're good to -30, but principally a I'll give you an example of the cost savings. A fuel tank would normally last us 3.5 months on a 6,000 square foot building. Now we're finding the fuel tank lasts almost a year and a half for that same building. So we're not, the heat pump takes over and produces the energy that we need on the building. And it's important to understand that the heat pumps are most effective when you have a building that's been retrofitted to air tightness and energy efficiency. It's really important that you do that before you invest in the heat pump and interconnect it to a forced air system, whether you're gas or oil or electric. Make sure your building's airtight and sealed tight and has good energy insulation factors incorporated into the design. Otherwise, it could be problematic to heat a home. So these homes, they're showing some pretty good results. With Rob Pope, we found a solution with them for our needs. I'm sure that he will help you design your needs and connect with them.
Rob is another one of the consultants who'll be joining us at the Retrofit Forum in June. Richard, I'm wondering, in New Hulk Nation now, what is the proportion you'd say of new builds to retrofits? And what's the decision point on deciding to retrofit a home or if a whole another new build is needed?
I think when I left the office, things went to the left or right, whatever you might call it. But I think the booklet is a good model of a retrofit. Well, I also created a retrofit specification for upgrading a home, a single family dwelling, or the homes that we're seeing today to some sort of standard that meets step code 4 and 5. I just put with the guys in BC, the inspectors in BC that are working with me, we're designing a retrofit plan, retrofit program. And I have nine or 10 retrofit work descriptions in place now. And we're just kind of going through it to create one overall for First Nations homes. I think typically we see that the social housing program is a common one. So how do we address that? And how do we create that energy efficient homes? What are the things we have to deal with? Simple, whatever your needs are for your region, you know better than I do what they are as First people. What's working, what is not working. But we created a outline of 9 specs. We're going to share when it's all developed.
That's exciting. Do you know approximate timelines for the development of those?
We got them in black and white now. We're just letting the guys look at them, but they're pretty straightforward. I see straightforward. Proper insulation application process on creation, changing the type of windows, using different types of windows and what's most complementary for your region. And also has a small carbon footprint like wood windows, triple pane LED lighting, heating systems and stuff like that. But creating it to meet your needs.
And when those are ready, how will we be able to find them?
We're gonna when we've done the creation of the building science and education curriculum, I'm gonna take the book and I'm gonna edit it with the people and incorporate that all in there into the booklet. And so as a template, the booklet is a template that has so many facets that may reflect your community. You can develop and incorporate that into your your needs, not my needs.
I can hardly wait. I'm so excited to see that. It's so exciting that it can be customized for all the different things, the different climate areas, the needs of the community. Just take it and run with it. It's really exciting work.
I think, yeah, creating a building standard is critical. I'll say if you do what you always done, you're gonna get what you always got. So let's do something different that meets our needs. Simple as that.
I have another 10 minutes or so. If please put your questions or comments in the chat. So Bruce comments, I have recent experience with well-sealed, well-insulated houses built in remote northern communities 10 to 15 years after build. Most HRVs had been shut off and mold problems were prevalent.
Yes. The education, like I'll say that, education or training plans. And with this booklet, there's a feature where I'll give you my experience with that with architect. He said you need to pass HRV, ERV. I said no, well, probably be a good idea. But the design and the features of the booklet have a lot of components that we can manage passive flow by simply using different types of doors and closet doors and incorporating different windows, pointing at two windows, undercutting doors, or incorporating that uh, flow of ventilation through your not your HRV, the heat pump, which is your heating and cooling system. And if you don't have those training components in your housing and housing plan, yes, people are not going to understand what they're for. And I think I see that one of the most critical things that needs to be incorporated in your housing plan is that training and education plan. Giving our first people more responsibility, um, more responsibility to their asset. Do you have experience using screw piles to support the wood floor instead of concrete crawl space? Yeah, we actually did that here in Bella Coola because we built some hotel units on the Hudson's Bay site. And when we were doing a building there, we found some remains. So we went back into screw piling and piles and the hotel units. And we didn't want to disrupt anything below that we found. Yeah, we did that. And so we used insulated floor system. And the hotel units, I think they were built at $70 a square foot. And I don't know how they're doing now. But I'm hearing some good stuff about it because they're constructed with wood, low carbon footprints and so forth.
Okay, thank you. Dre asks, do you see any future issues with a building standard that requires private homeowners to build or renovate to a standard that they can't afford? How can we navigate this for private builders alongside existing building regulations and zoning?
do you see futures with building standard required by owners to build and renovate standard account for? I said building, creating your building standard to complement not only your climate, but your cultural lifestyle is important. Designing the spaces to complement the home is critical, and educating educating the occupants about their role and responsibilities at home. And you heard me talk earlier about the systemic relationship that we had with the federal government, that we'll build it, we'll look after it. I think, I say to them, why are you guys still doing that? I said, our people need to understand that's their asset, that they have to manage it and take up the role and responsibility of themselves. And that's part of growth. But that Indian Act and colonization has pushed us down so far that we have to pull ourselves back up, and that's part of the work that needs to be done. And the work I did talking to communities and elders, they weren't really receptive to hearing change. So I said, okay, I'm going to talk to the youth, and they'll be the future leaders. They'll be the people that are living and doing things differently. So that's why I created those videos and stuff like that. And the hardest work we do as housing people and housing is change the perception of people to understand what their role and responsibility is to the home. That's the hardest work that you'll do. And that's the hardest work I do today. As for private builders, build your own team and let them build. If they want to build for you, let them come and build to your standards, not theirs, because they don't live here. You don't live in the homes.
Richard Joseph comments, education is important in viewing a lot of homes in the Northwest as an energy advisor. A lot of the residents had no idea that they were unplugged, what they were and that they were, and unplugged them.
Yeah, that's why it's important that we incorporate all our videos and all our training programs. And if you go onto NoHawk's website, you see some of the videos we created for the kids. And they're done by our NoHawk children, and create the videos with your people. And they'll embrace change. And that's the hardest work. But I love that concept. I saw it most successful. And I've been doing it with BCIT and with the guys, and we'll be doing with the guys. As we create the booklet and edit the booklet, we'll be creating more videos. We'll be the guys talking about their experiences. There's just a good toolbox of solutions, but you also have a toolbox that you have to incorporate into your design. So believe me when I say that. It's the future in my mind.
Thank you. That is such a great place to end. Karim Abraham and Richard Hall, so much appreciation for your presentations today. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your knowledge and your passion for this topic. And I look forward to connecting with you and many of the audience members again in the future. I'm going to close it off here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.